Hey, I want to welcome Kennesaw Happenings to our podcast. We're here at Overture 55 and older. We're next to Academy Sports behind QT and Popeyes. In the studio, she had to come from quite a ways driving across the town. But let me just before I have Nancy introduce you, I wanted to give a shout out. We were sitting in the lobby about 2 weeks ago, and you want to be in conversations. When people are talking about you, you know you've done something special. So B shares this story about Nancy and what they're doing over there with Clean Eatz. And I literally went online and my jaw dropped. So I was like, please, Nancy, come over here. It's not that bad of a drive. So tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Yep. My name is Nancy Glass, and I own Clean Eatz in Norcross, Peachtree Corners, Georgia, and I serve the entire community. So not just those that walk through my doors, but everybody in the community. As we say at Clean Eatz, we're the mayor of our city, and it's looking for how we can better provide healthy meals, community to be able to sit down together, and affordability.
What we were talking before we went on the air, I liked when you said community. So what does Clean Eatz and community have in common?
Well, we were just talking before we got on air, right, about that community aspect of being able to sit down as a family, that we don't always see that so often. However, I see customers coming through my door. I have an attorney. She has 4 kids, and they come in and shop meals together so the kids can get what they want. And then they can sit down together, because that time, as we said, checking in with each other, connecting with each other, finding about, what your stressors are or how your day has gone, over a meal, breaking bread is timeless.
Right. So I love that. And so when you obviously there's a reason you got connected to Clean Eatz. Tell our viewers, were you always interested in the nutritional side of food? Did you gravitate to the franchise by the concept? Give our viewers a little insight.
You've mentioned a lot of reasons. My background is in the corporate world. I have a medical component, education, sales, etc. And I did that for over 20 years. My overarching mission personally was everyone that would walk into my seminars. I might not see them but twice a year, but what can I leave them with in terms of their own belief in themselves that will make them a greater human being, right? In addition to what I'm supposed to be teaching them, but it's about finding out a need, not ever selling to greed, which, it's relationship. It's relationship and understanding why somebody's coming through your door, and based on your product or products, what will help them in their life be better. And that's it, right?
Right.
You don't force anybody to buy something, because then they will never come back. And I don't believe in that. Yeah,
that we've said in the past, when people are leaning into you, they're interested, as opposed to you shouting at them and saying something. And that's that being sold. Nobody likes to be sold. We like to be educated.
Right. You can make your own decision.
Yes, I totally agree. And you said relationships. So what do you think Clean Eatz is doing? You obviously love what you saw, and you invested quite a bit of money in this concept. What jumped off? I want to be involved in this.
Well, I did a lot of soul searching before, landing on Clean Eatz, investigation of talking to a lot of owners, visiting a lot of cafes. There weren't any in Metro Atlanta at that point. We had Columbus, Georgia. So I traveled all over to really discern if this met what I wanted to do in the community. So the boxes that it checked off: affordability, healthy food, because it's hard. I mean, many times I tried to, choose organic, better proteins, but it's unobtainable.
Right.
So to be able to provide that, no contracts or subscriptions. I reviewed a lot. There's a lot of meal prep companies that are out there, and they're all doing their own thing. And there's plenty of market for everybody, but a contract or subscription, I've been on that side, not from a meal plan, but other things. And you can't disconnect it, it's very difficult because that's the scheme to try to get more money out of you.
Right.
And I don't, that doesn't attach to my core values.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big plus as well. And the story that we have to tell, and the guidance that we can give in the community, because eating healthy, if you've come from a background or a community where certain foods may not be the healthiest, but you grew up that way, it's comfort food, right?
Right.
And a lot of people don't have the knowledge to understand, why, we could still do something similar, but it'd be a better choice, and how that fuels your body and brain health. I mean, as we get older, we're concerned about, brain health, et cetera, but there's certain groupings of food like good fats that are, our brain, that's its main source of food.
Right.
So, carbs are, a lot of carbs are bad, especially if you're pre-diabetic or you have diabetes. But then again, carbs also in the right proportion give your body energy. So if you go on a low carb diet and you feel sluggish, it's because you don't have enough energy, that kind of fuel, to help you get through the day.
Right.
And then protein, we all know that's about muscle growth. And we get to a certain age where supposedly we can't develop any more muscle, but you can keep the muscle that you have stronger, and you can keep it from deteriorating by the food and then by doing weight bearing exercises.
Yeah. Just what you touched on, the education that's needed, because there's so much miseducation out there, misinformation. We have in our mind a certain thing like, I can't eat this, I can't eat this. And so I think when I started looking at your information online, I was immediately drawn to the simplicity of it. And I put people, like you said, to check off the boxes. I always say, is it something I could do long term? And if it is, then I'm more apt to want to get involved in something like that versus the fad things. So in the food industry, I think there has been a lot of that. You see, and I'm not calling out our major food, but you see lean cuisine, and it's frozen, and you think, well, that word sounds good, lean cuisine.
We all want to be that way.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Sign me up.
The word just kind of, we're so busy, we don't read labels, but I've always believed that anything in the inside of a grocery store is the things that those processes, that food that's processed is not the same as natural. Now, you brought some meals with you, and it's absolutely driving me crazy because I'm smelling them.
I know.
So I want you to educate our consumer. Yes. Look at that.
That's
you're looking at it.
Chicken pasta, and it has an ancho sauce on it, whole grain pasta, and it's not only pretty, but it's not even hot yet, and it smells good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, and I just finished eating, but
we're going to eat these, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So our podcast will not be as long as normal because we're going to indulge in.
We're hungry.
Yes. And we're going to do the fellowship part of eating is eating together. No. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to, this is torturing me, but yet it's exciting. So tell me, like, when you were in the corporate world, and you touched on, I really liked, the leaving of an impact, leaving people with something that they can take and make better. When you were doing your research, what really, I mean, yes, you're talking to the franchise. Were you interested in the nutritional part of the food? Because the restaurant industry is not easy.
Right.
It's very difficult, matter of fact. What drew you to the restaurant part of it? And then obviously the franchise.
This sounds kind of strange, but it wasn't the restaurant part of it. Okay.
Yes. And I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. But I've never, I've looked at this. While it is a restaurant, it really isn't, because it's about community. It's about filling a need, and food is the fuel. So we all need that. It's not a niche thing where it's a specialized, it's day in and day out food that we all can eat, right? That helps us live longer, helps us feel better, etc. So that was the first thing. Customers that come in once I was open, the customers that come in are not like a typical restaurant. Nobody complains. In fact, when we've been short staffed because we opened, let's see, in 2021.
Okay.
So we're still wearing masks, right? I didn't get, I wasn't shut down. I opened after COVID shut everybody down, but still everything was expensive, twice as much. We're wearing masks, really focusing on healthy, taking things out to customers' cars, et cetera. With that being said, people with short staff issues as well, customers would bring their baskets up after they eat. They're like, here, let me I'm like, that's my job. That's my staff job. We realize that you're short staffed. In that effect, we're all in this together.
Right.
Every customer that comes through that door. And that just, if it was a regular restaurant, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that we're providing that service of, what more than to be able to enjoy your life as we mature, right. That we're not just getting to the finish line, right? But we're getting there. As I say, I want to go out in a ball of flames, right? I don't want to rust like a car sitting out. I want to be vital and doing what I want to do all the way up until the finish line. And so food is 80% of it.
Well, I didn't realize the importance of nutrition till about 8 months ago, and I'm 66. So I've kind of like stumbled on it. I went to a concierge doctor over in Dunwoody. And so I'm with a health and nutrition fitness guy, and he hands me 2 books. First book was The Glucose Revolution, and the other one was by Dr. Peter Attias, which was, I think, it's a thick book. I mean, it's about that big. And he's handing it to me, and I said, Francisco, I don't read those big books. So he said, well, you can get them on Audible. I said, okay, I did. So, but when I read The Glucose Revolution, one thing they said, which I had never heard my whole life, vegetables first. And it was like, wow, vegetables first, because you get the glucose spikes. And so if you're just a tweak of how you consume food changed my whole belief system about it. And lo and behold, I mean, I have more energy than I have ever had in my life by just making that one little switch in my thinking. So with people and they're coming into your cafe, what's that first reaction? Like they're coming in, they're looking around. Are they all starry-eyed going like, what is this?
No, that's a great question, because our concept is so different. So in my cafe, when you walk in, the first thing you're going to see are 3 freezers that hold 1,300 meals, because we prepare meals that are fresh. Everything's made on the premises by all my staff's loving hands and myself. Yeah. We're hand chopping everything, placing it together. So as we say, it looks sexy when you eat it. Yeah. Right? Yeah, it does. But you walk in and you see that, and that's different, right? You don't walk into restaurants and you see that. So my team, they know by the time you get 5 feet in, you're greeted. Even if we're with somebody, we're like, hey, how are you today? And then you can kind of look and see, like, they're checking stuff out. And we come out and we'll, is this your first time in? Because we know our regular customers and we know them by name. Right. So is this your first time in? Just to break the ice, we know that it is. And then we show that, what's your primary reason for coming in? Are you hungry right now? Let's go up to the menu. Or, do you want just a tour of the cafe and what we do? And so normally they're hungry and they want to eat right away. So we take them up to the menu and we discuss like how our menu is portioned out and how it ties in with meal prep. And then we get that taken care of. And then I ask them, do you want a tour? Do you want to know what, the other things that we offer to make your life easy? Yeah.
I like the idea you said, make my life easy. So walk our viewers through the system that's been created. I love it. The emails, the selection of the 6 meals, just kind of help our viewers understand how you take care of your people over there in Norcross.
So there's 3 primary things that all Clean Eatz locations do. We have a cafe, a restaurant. It's made to order. You come in, you place your order, or you could do Uber Eats or takeout. But everything is portioned. So as we're cooking it, there's measuring spoons so that we know it's 4 ounces of your base. If we're building a bowl, depending on the size of your bowl, it might be 4 ounces of protein all the way up to 8 ounces, or you can add more if you want, depending on, what is your goal? Are you trying to maintain your body weight? Are you trying to lose? Or are you trying to gain muscle? Because I have a lot of pro bodybuilders and pro boxer that eat, Clean Eatz.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really finding out where you are in your journey, and being able to do that. Secondly, we do meal plan. So I think that name it kind of throws people off, because you're used to, with a meal plan, it's a menu and the company tells you what you're going to eat and what day.
Yes.
We give you a menu of, I'm going to grab a menu
really
quick. So we can use a visual.
That'd be good for our viewers.
So if you go online, you'll see every cafe, every location has the same meal plan, but it changes every single week. And you have 5 entrees that could be lunch or dinner, and then you have a breakfast. But if you want breakfast for dinner, you can do that too.
Plenty of times. I did last night.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can order anything off that menu. If you only want one meal, we'll make it for you. If you want 10 big steak omelets that were on last week's menu, then you can order just that. There's no contracts or subscriptions, as we said before. And then you come pick them up and they're fresh. And then there's also a discount component, because you are placing an order, even though there's not a contract or a subscription. We're saying thank you. Mm-hmm. So the pricing component can go as low as $6.52 a meal, or you can get 21 meals. And I want you to think about this for a minute. You have $137 to spend at the grocery store. Are you able, with $137, to make 21 different meals?
No possible way.
And so that is the other thing, is like, we say people before profit.
Yeah.
We're selling a lot of meals in order to make up the difference in the pricing, right?
Yeah.
But that's the right thing to do, to allow to throw a big net and capture everybody, people that are going through drive-throughs, and it's quick. They think it's a cheaper model, but the food is also cheaper. It's not good quality. And then you wonder why you feel the way you do, but your body adapts to it. So you think sometimes your aches and your pains, or your brain fog is just because you're getting older. I have 30-year-olds that are like, I'm getting older. I'm like, you're not old. What? Yeah. Shut that up. It's you're not old.
Fueling of the what's going into your body. Because I know that I've been educated on the second brain, which is your gut. So tell our viewers a little bit about, are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And the word that we hear is microbiome.
Yes.
It's just as important as brain health and cardiovascular health as well. So it is making sure that you have good bacteria in your gut, right, in your intestines and your digestive system, so that it can be more efficient in how it breaks down food. Results of that are, no bloat, gassiness, constipation, diarrhea, because your body is able to break down and utilize the nutrition from the food if the food has nutritional value, right? That's why you want, high protein, good sourced. We do bison, we have salmon that's wild caught. Like you want good sourced food, so that you're not wasting. It's the same thing with supplementation too. And I digress, but like if you're doing vitamins and all of that's coming out as waste, right? Because you're not taking the right supplements that your body needs, you're throwing money down the toilet in this case.
Yeah. It's so basic and simple, but I think we have educated a generation or two of the convenience drive-through, because we've had people talk about the Chick-fil-A. They're now opening up like drive-throughs like they're Starbucks. They're going to 2 and 3 because everybody is on the move. They're so quick.
Absolutely.
But what you said earlier about, families getting together and having that time to eat together. What do you say when you say community and you're working with people, your regular customer? Are they commenting back to you how they've changed the way that they're consuming and getting together with their families?
Absolutely. And again, customers will come in, or they'll post on social media, or, check out our Google reviews or Yelp. there's where the tire meets the road, right? Is listening to the consumer. One customer that pops into mind, he came in and he started doing the meal plans. He just wanted to feel better. And a sidebar to that was that he started to lose weight too. And he's like, and I needed, and he pats his stomach, I needed to lose weight.
Right.
But he told me, and again, this is to the individual, he told me within the first few days, he was less congested when he'd wake up in the morning. That, and then it turned into less body aches. And it was, I use the analogy, especially, for men, we're into, I'm a automobile, like, junkie speed, but,
Right.
with a Ferrari, let's say, or some high performance car, you need to put premium fuel in, or you're going to, the engine, you're going to have problems down the road, and lots of repairs. You would just never do that. But yet we don't put premium food in our bodies, but we expect it to just push through.
Right.
So, the choice is looking for that and understanding that. And that's what we're here to do, is to help educate the person. And that's free. We'll sit down with you. We'll stand up with you and really find out, like, where are you in that healthy journey? And do we need to educate you on something? And it's generalizations, right? Because I'm not a doctor, but I have had a life of being a performance athlete. I have, my parents are passed away, but I've dealt with, seniors, and I've been in that environment. I've, a lot in volunteering and et cetera. So I understand what it takes to thrive.
Right.
And then being able to kind of spring forward with somebody and jump some steps so they understand. And some people come in a healthier environment like you now, right? You've educated yourself, and so it's understanding that, not talking at you, but talking with you.
Right.
And then, okay, how can we make this even easier for you?
What would you say, what comes to my brain right now is your energy level. It's like, it's contagious. And do you bottle it up and sell it in the cafe? Can I buy some of this?
I love life. And I've always been like this. I mean, probably to some people that are slower paced, it's like I lit my hair on fire. But I mean, you're only going around the sun for so long.
Yeah.
And you can either let everything drag you down, or I've always taken the positive spin to it. And I'm thrilled to help people. I mean, that was what I was put on this earth. I always ask God, like, utilize me. What am I supposed to be doing that's bigger and better? Because that's what I want to do. I want to help my staff. I don't want to sit on a bunch of money. I want them to have a good life. I want them to see what's out there, that, sometimes you're just born in the right moment or to the right people. But, if we all work hard enough and we make those connections, we can all do better together.
Yes, I totally agree. So I'm curious, like, do you wake up with this much energy, or how long does it take in the morning to hit it? I'm going to say, like, you're on high octane fuel.
I only had one cup of coffee.
Really?
But it did have protein in it.
What are you like in the morning? Tell our viewers, like, do you just turn it on and then it's nonstop until you close your eyes at night? Can you give us an idea there? I know it's a kind of a loaded question.
I do. I wake up in the morning and I check social media because, I'm a business person. So I am also the social media expert as well.
Right. Okay.
And I look at what's out there and what, how do I need to capture the audience? What story do I need to tell for the day? Where is it in terms of the week? Drink my coffee with my dog. And then, I'm excited for the day, and I look forward to, I was so excited to be able to come here and talk with you.
Me too. I mean, I've had in 1 week 2 of the most amazing people from Clean Eatz. Yourself, who B just raved about. I mean, nobody tells us, like, you got to talk to Nancy. I mean, that's crazy that somebody would be, I call them those raving fans. And I want a comment I want our viewers to kind of maybe think about. In marketing, there's called permission marketing, where people give you permission to get your information. It's almost like you have permission food. It's like people are leaning into it. They want it. They want to tell the world. They want to share it with their friends, because I've always thought if you have something worthwhile to share, you're going to share it with everybody, because you don't want something to be a well-kept secret. So let's go back before Clean Eatz. At what point in time did you have this energy level that's absolutely contagious?
Well, if I could back up for one sec, I just want to add one thing, because, you know, that permission marketing and the voice of the consumer, my customers, my friends, right? That's really important. When you walk in and it's your first time in, you know, Clean Eatz Norcross, my loyal customers will, you know, they'll be like, oh, you got to have, and they'll point to the menu and they're like, you got to try this. Oh, let me tell you, let me picking up meals. And they'll start, you know, I have one customer, Michelle. I was in Peachtree Corners, the Peachtree Corners Festival. And I went to the restroom and I was the only one manning my little table. And I come back and there's this big group around the table. I'm like, what is going on? Right. I'm not there. And it's Michelle, one of my customers. There were some people gathering, and she stepped up and she's like, let me tell you about Clean Eatz.
Really? Like jumping into your role.
Like, bless you.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, back to your question, the energy piece. I've always been, I just love life. I think there was one article that I read when I was a marathon runner. I got Runner's World. And there was an article that really stuck with me and resonated my entire life, is that it was about, and it was a piece that they did every single month. And it was about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. That was the title, right? Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. 88-year-old man, the article that I read, 88-year-old man finished his first marathon. 88. He had never run in his entire life, and he finished a marathon. Right. Yeah. You know, so that resonated with me, is that we're given this chance to be on this earth for a certain amount of time. How do you use it to affect others? Right. And make the world a better place. And the other piece is encouraging people to not just let their time go by. Right. The grains in the hourglass drop. But no matter where you've come from in your life, where you were born into, et cetera, if you focus and work hard, you know, that's the American dream, right? Right. But it's also about, you know, getting a step up, right? When I went into the corporate world, it was through a multitude of knowing people to help me decide, and carrying me along the way to help me be successful. And, you know, it was the best job ever, working for a Fortune 500 company, but being able to allow them to see my talents and develop that. So, you know, we talked that I did TV and media and all that, and I would have never expected that to happen. Right. In that same way, it is finding out what the true talents of your team are, or even, you know, your kids, right? Or your grandkids. What do they do naturally and do well? Because that's what's going to make them thrive. You can teach skills, but you can't teach talent. Right. And my job, like with my nieces and nephew, were to be able to give them all these different avenues to learn about themselves better. You know, horseback riding, or, you know, whatever it might be, so that you really find what lights your fire. When you put your feet down on the floor in the morning, what's your why? What's your mission? That just, you know, that's where your energy comes from, is that you have a purpose. Totally agree. And I applaud the fact that, you know, like B spoke so highly of me. I mean, that just, I mean, it's emotional that I've touched. That.
I mean, she's like, I don't know. How long did it take you to get over here? 30 minutes or so?
Yeah, 30. Okay. Not bad at all.
So, I mean, when you think of raving about somebody 30 minutes away, like, we wanted to just drop everything and run over there. And because that testimony was so moving, as she described the concept and described her joy of finding a clean place that serves nutritious, delicious meals. And it was like, I can only imagine that if she's telling people, you got a lot of raving fans out there. So let me get back. Yeah, I totally think that is.
We all are, you know, at all the locations. Right. We all have that fan club, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be a just kind of fill in your heart to know that you're touching lives in a unique way, because, we've gone through COVID. We've gone through what I would say 40 years of, and I'm not jumping on the misinformation bandwagon, but it is, because I work for Nabisco. I've been in food service. I have been around food in a more intimate way. So I've seen what goes on. And then maybe that's what jumped at the page when I went online and saw yours. But let me bring my viewers back to Clean Eatz. What would you like to see as how long have you had it open in Norcross?
May will be 3 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And as I said before, we opened, Metro Atlanta, my location was the first one in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that first year, and I always laugh because I've been in the restaurant business. It's kind of like a culture shock of building a team in the restaurant business. What was that challenge? Share with our viewers. You're coming out of the corporate life into the restaurant, which is like the opposite ends of things. Team building in corporate life is completely different team building in a restaurant. So what would our viewers learn from your experience of that journey that you could share with us?
I had high expectations. I mean, I don't take no for an answer, and I strive to be the best I can be. And I was number one in the country with this Fortune 500 company, in my job for multiple years.
Right.
So it's not luck,
Right.
So and again, I didn't see these people, but maybe, a couple times a year in some cases, depending on how remote they were. But so I walked into the restaurant business going, this is, I got this.
Yeah. No.
It's easy.
And I could see why you would think
I can lead a team,
yes.
I can lead a team from, long distance. So I've got them right here in the building, and this is going to be amazing, and they're going to love me, and, we're going to rock from day one. Well, COVID and that whole piece kind of did a number on staffing, and nobody wants to work, and I can stay home and, make money. So there was a lot of interviews. People wouldn't show up. I was talking to people that, 6-figure incomes, and they wouldn't show up for interviews for jobs like that. Like it was all, COVID hit everybody.
Yeah.
So, I had to have people, I had to warm bodies to open. And, the wheel's already rolling, and we're getting close to that opening day. And I don't, I got to have at least 10 people to open. Had I not been under that pressure, I would have waited, but I felt like a hostage, right? I hired people that I knew were not who I would hire,
right?
But I needed to do that. And I had great turnover. The first year was tremendous. It was tremendous, and it was stressful. But I was like, I was determined that if I need to take your order in the front and go around in the back and cook it for you, then that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Because I'm not going to have people that aren't joyful when somebody walks through the door. Right. Yeah. So, we don't know what journey they came in on. We don't know what happened to them that day. They may not be really nice to us to begin with, but you didn't do anything. Right. And your job is to make them happy. We can do that through food. We can do that through communication. Just, if they need a hug, give them a hug, right? Whatever it is, that's our job. And, my employees, their paycheck is signed by every customer that walks in the door. And I tell them that it is not about us. It is about the community. And if we're not serving that community and delivering, 200% on the goods and the feeling when you walk in the door, we're dead in the water.
Well, I tell you what, I want to buy a franchise, and I want you to run it. Because I'm telling you what, your energy is contagious. It is really cool to see, because I think I'm a stickler on energy, and I like when people, it's literally you just fire people up.
Well, you and I
then-
talked on the phone, and do you remember what you said to me when we talked on the phone?
No.
You said, I think we're going to be best friends. And it's because,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I said, yes, I think we are too.
Yes. Okay. Now I remember.
Energetic people.
Yes.
We gravitate towards people who are like us. So that's
Right.
another part of the training too, with the staff,
Right.
with the front of the house, greeting people. You know, one of my front of house people, Denise, she's very soft spoken.
Right.
And I'm like, girl, you got to belt it out, right? I need you to it's going to sound like screaming, but I need you to say hello for that customer that's at the door if you're here helping somebody. And she has, the other day I said to her, I said, have you noticed how far you've come? She's out in front of the counter. She's greeting people.
Really?
Oh my God. She's greeting people in front of the frozen meals, and she's asking them what they're looking for. And she's blossomed into this, you know, whole another, not a different person, but a better version.
Yeah.
And she can speak to those that are soft spoken, and she can ramp it up to those that are energetic. And we like people that are like us, right?
Yes.
So you mirror that.
True.
You mirror that.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm so proud of her. So
and it's kind of like you're watching somebody grow, and that my partner and I we talk about it is like, what is the version we're going to be a year from now?
Right.
You know, because we're always want that growth mindset, because if we're not growing, we're not learning. If we're not learning, we're not growing. So it's a cycle of information. As we wind down 3 years, you're really got your team together. Are you like satisfied in such that you have accomplished this transition from corporate to the restaurant industry? Are you like saying, I want to take on the world? I want the whole East Coast. What's your thinking now?
Well, you know, I mean, that's a great question. And I'm kind of chuckling because, you know, it's, again, we're all constantly learning.
Yep.
So every single day there's something new. It was a big learning curve. I kind of walked in with a little bit of like, I got this, right? Oh, no, I don't. Mm-hmm. You know, running your own business is completely different. It's all on you. You have nobody to fall back on.
Right.
I do have the most amazing general manager. I'm sure B told you about Charlotte.
Yeah. She didn't say by name, but she said she did mention
she's a blessing, and her family feels like I'm a blessing to her, and we're a blessing to each other. Like she just is amazing, and she's younger, and she's so smart and worldly, and she believes in the same mission that I do about how we treat people, and all of that. And people think she's my daughter, or they think we're partners together. And that is the biggest compliment that you could ever pay.
Yeah.
As far as, you know, taking on the world, I'm like, and Dawn and Yvonne, the founders, I can remember, you know, when we were talking at Discovery Day, and they were meeting me and understand, I'm like, I'm going to be number one. Because I came from the world, I was number one, you know, so I'm taking on the number one cafe, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not there yet. Right. There's still a lot of room for growth, but it's all about growing and serving your community.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And there's a lady that lives here, and she went to work for Dollar Tree, and my brother just retired from there. And she said something, she said, it's a community store. And it's kind of like when you can link and tie into a community, that's everything. Mm-hmm. We have a wonderful person here, Josette Fryer, who's a community builder. So it's like we haven't had that, then we haven't. So we really appreciate it. So one question before I let you go is, Charlotte, how did you recruit her? What was the, like, did she come in as a customer? Like, did you recognize something? What did you see in her that now she's so valuable on your team?
She was working at another restaurant, like in a nearby city, and she was coming in as a customer. And, you know, just like our energy, we talk, I would, you know, every time I'd make a point of talking to her when she'd come in. And one day I asked her, I said, what do you do? And she said, you know, I am a manager at such and such restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know, you've always got to plant your seeds. I said, you know, if you are ever interested in wanting to come here, if there's something that's not fulfilling you there, you don't want to steal people, but I wanted to put the bug in her head.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
so
you're
that's
always recruiting talent. You have to be.
and
Okay.
I find, you can look on, all these sites, but my best staff has come from people that have come in, either work or a customer or just came in looking for work. And you get to know them right away and how they approach that.
Right.
And I talk to my customers too. I said, I'm looking for such and such. You guys know what we do and the energy that we put forth and all of that vibe.
Right.
So they're the best to provide that as well. So we just keep that momentum going.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that started the discussion with Charlotte. And then, I brought her on and
the rest is history.
Yeah,
that's good. So being a restaurant owner, I want to be respectful of time. So tell our viewers, how can they get a hold of you? Give them your information. So they're going to want to come visit you just to not only eat your food, but to actually talk with
Come
you.
hang out.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, if you talk to Nancy, it's going to be, the energy is going to just transfer to you. So you're going to want to travel across and go over to Norcross. But go ahead.
Yeah. So you can find locations for all Clean Eatz on cleaneatz.com. Again, our location is Norcross, even though we are Peachtree Corners as well. We do have another location that's Peachtree City. So I picked up my mailing address, Norcross, so there wouldn't be confusion. You can always give us a call. Everything's on the website. And talk to us individually. Come in is the best way to experience, what we do. So we can give you a tour. Whether you want to come in and eat or not, just come in and check us out and see what we're talking about. Because we're not blowing wind. We really are the real deal, and we want to take care of you. We want to provide a service that's affordable, that makes you healthier in your lifestyle.
Well, Nancy, I want to.
So you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. It's Clean
Okay.
Eatz Norcross, and we're on TikTok too if you're into TikTok.
Really?
Cool. Yeah. And that's our, that's kind of our retailtainment is, our entertainment piece is doing some fun things, to entertain our consumers, but also to teach them about what we do as well.
That's so good. Yeah. So we're going to put it in the show notes too for people that are driving around the city. We don't want you to multitask, but before we leave, what's the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time together on this podcast?
You didn't prepare me for that one. That's a biggie.
No, I know.
That's a biggie. Yes. I think it's beyond, it's beyond the purpose of what we do at Clean Eatz. It's that there's somebody out there that cares about you. And truly does. Sometimes we feel very lonely and isolated. And that's part of the mission through food and bringing you into a healthy lifestyle. We're also there to create community. It's a place for you to come hang out. I have women's church groups that come in. I have a group that knits, and they come in and they eat lunch together, and they sit, in the booth for an hour or so. Right. And we have, a big footprint. We're 3,800 square feet. So we have plenty of room for people to come in. I have a realtor that he has a booth. That's his little office away from home, and it's a great place to just know that you're loved.
Oh, that's so good. What are the hours over there?
Hours are 11 to 7. Part of that during the week. And that is, eating earlier is better for you than eating later at night and going straight to bed. And then on the weekends, we're open 11 to 3. And twofold, it's also for Clean Eatz staff to have work-life balance as well, which makes us different from a regular restaurant.
Yes.
On top of that is that, when you have that balance, your staff comes in more energetic and willing to please, right? They have that energy.
I totally agree. All right, Nancy, thank you so much for being with us, and want to encourage our viewers, share this video. Look, we don't want to be a best kept secret here. Get it to people that can enjoy what Nancy has just shared with you, especially our people over in Norcross that can go. And I love it. I don't know if you said it, but if you did, I forgot about it. You pick up your meals, which I think is absolutely genius, because I've had delivery, and delivery almost doubles your cost. And because we ordered from a chef in Decatur, But by the time you threw delivery costs on there, it kind of got to that point where, maybe the convenience of pre-cooked meals is not as good. But the idea they can just come in there, grab their meals and go.
Yeah. If you don't want to talk, we'll get you in and out really fast. You can sit down and have a meal. We're not fast food, but 7 to 10 minutes is our ticket time.
Oh, wow.
So pretty quick for fresh, made and measured
Absolutely.
food. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nancy. We appreciate it. Okay. Bye-bye.